so that everyone can come.
Mike,
Like this. Huh?
Mike नहीं connect करना.
No, we can't. We can't connect the mic because this is already connected. Okay. The only thing is when people are talking, you just need to bring the camera closer to them. Okay. Yeah. What do you guys want to do? You want to have what?
Yeah, so anyone doesn't get.
Yeah. Mojito, water, Pepsi. Come on, guys. Okay. Thank you all for joining in. Due to a slight technical glitch, we weren't able to start exactly on time. We got like a little bit, how should I say, busy with able to create the proper setup, if you will. So right now, as you can see with me, I'm joined by one of Saudi Arabia's formidable collectors who was kind enough to bring in his very prized possession of Captain America shield that's signed by Chris Evans. So I'd like to introduce all of you to me, who goes by Son of Sparta on Instagram, and I'm also joined by Basil Sharif. Basil Sharif is represents represents a group that does cosplay of Marvel and Marvel and DC characters. So today he's dressed up as Wolverine because we're going to be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And then followed by we have Ahmed Badi, who goes by Osmonian Cosplay, and he is here as Deadpool. So Ahmed, if you can just show the public with the mask how you look like as Wade Wilson, and we are really grateful. We are that Goodies selection has allowed us to film this live broadcast in their location. Uh, a lot of thanks goes out to their management and especially Mr. Saran Garg, who was kind enough to give us the space, who was kind enough to let us make the arrangement and broadcast accordingly. So without further ado, let's just proceed ahead because we are already 5 minutes late into the live broadcast. Another two individuals that I'd like to mention and I'd like to thank them. One of them is Kashif Mumtaz, who goes by Ideas X. He is the person, the man, the brains behind all the technical setup that he has been able to do with very limited resources of. And also, we have a special guest. His name is Abdul Qadir Adam. He's not a superhero guy, but he was kind enough to render us the support from the technical aspects. So, guys, first of all, Alhamdulillah, ala salamatak, ala salamatak. We finally have reached, and we are starting this first ever live broadcast that's basically going to showcase the tremendous talent that exists in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, and so as I've said, Jamil is someone who has had the opportunity to meet the legend Stan Lee. So he has had a picture with him. I specifically asked him not to bring that picture because obviously a lot of people would go crazy looking at that picture, seeing Jamil beside him and being autographed by Stan Lee. So on one side we have Jamil, and on the other side we have these two representatives. Of course, their group is quite big, and these guys are very much dedicated when it comes to Marvel and DC family. So let's just start with Uh, the agenda of our live broadcast is that what's the feeling right now here in Saudi Arabia when it comes to the release of upcoming Wolverine and Deadpool.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us today. Such a pleasure being here with you.
Please, second.
Absolutely.
In fact, thank you for taking out the time to join us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So we wanted to talk about the feel of what's going on in the country and the city specifically with conference and we're so blessed to have conventions now and celebrities coming out to see us and such professional cosplayers right now. So hopefully bigger things to come, right? And bigger celebrities, bigger names, and more conventions. And movie premieres. We just had last month. We had Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They were in Riyadh for the very first world premiere of the Marvel movie in the kingdom. So hopefully we'll have more to come. We're hoping these guys will come over here. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds someday. Hopefully they'll bless us in the country.
So this is the Marvel Legends action figure of Astonishing X-Men thing. This is the costume that you are going to be seeing in Deadpool and Wolverine. So yeah, I mean we have come quite close to the fact that we might be. I mean it's not far off now that we might expect Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman coming with the Riyadh Shadia to basically open up the movie. Sadly, they didn't have that in their itinerary. What do you guys have to say about the Wolverine and that? Because it's another thing is it's gonna get released a day early in India compared to other territories. So
Well, this is the most movie excited for me. Uh, uh, I think the last movie I was so excited for was No Way Home when they announced that there is a Deadpool 3. I really, really wanted to come back as Wolverine again. And when they announced that Hugh Jackman is gonna back as a Wolverine, uh, many of my friends since they announced I was at the gym and I screamed in the gym just because Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, and I'm so excited to see him interact with the MCU other characters. And also, it's gonna be, I think, my favorite movie because my best favorite two character of X-Men is gonna be appearing together.
and the other character he's referring to as Deadpool. Ahmed,
Um,
you need to take off the.
it's very hard. I was really excited when I found out that, of course, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds were in the movie. And I didn't think that they would even be this movie, especially with like the huge amounts of schedule that Ryan Reynolds has and Hugh Jackman has. I wish in the future we could make these premieres maybe in Saudi, just like I said, and I really hope for the community of comic book movies and comic books themselves grow in this country.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys point blank, all of you guys. So, what do you guys think? Is this gonna be a big hit or a big miss?
For me, I think it's gonna be a big hit, but at the same time, I'm not putting a lot of hope because of what's happening the last few projects. But I have some hope for Hugh and Ryan Reynolds, especially Hugh not coming back for Wolverine for messed up script.
Right.
So I think it's gonna be big, but I don't think as an end game. I see it as maybe as big as No Way Home. Maybe.
Maybe as big as No Way Home, but not everything.
Yes.
Okay. Ahmed, you share the same sentiments?
I would, I would say almost exactly the same thing, but you shouldn't get too excited for something or you'll be disappointed. Like, expect disappointment and you'll never get disappointed.
Jamil,
Let me tell you something. Hugh Jackman, last time he did Logan, he actually tweeted and said, he put on the pause and said, last time. And we thought, that was confirmation we were never going to see him again. Years later, these gentlemen managed to bring him back. Sean Levy, and Ryan Reynolds. And they did a miracle. They brought him back. He has not said this is the last time. He hasn't said those words again. And for years and years and years, he said, "I want. If I'm going to come back, I want to be with the Avengers." So I think even though he hasn't confirmed it, we're going to go on record and saying he said these things. He wants to come back. He's back now. I think the merger of Fox with Disney is only a good sign of things to come. I think it's a big sign that we might see him back. And there's been rumors that he might be in the next couple of movies. Nothing confirmed, but I think it's a good sign.
Interesting. If I was initially under the impression that maybe the MCU is going to be led by Doctor Strange after the passing of Iron Man, but I think Wolverine is going to be leading the next phase, and especially if he's going to be part of the Avengers, because he has been in the comics as part of the new Avengers team. That would be a huge, rewarding development, especially for a guy like me who loves Wolverine more than Deadpool. So no offense to Deadpool fans. Okay, 2024 has kicked off with a lot of exciting stuff from the superhero world. Okay, we had X-Men 97 animated series. We are still having My Adventures with Superman season 2 after the success of season 1. We also have concluded Crisis on Infinite Earths, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Part 3.
Part 3, yes. Part 3 has just recently been released. So, Superman and Lois, I think it's the season finale.
It is in the last season.
Okay. Now, when these things are either happening right now or they have happened like in the past. But more importantly, Deadpool and Wolverine. After that, immediately it's going to be followed by Batman, the Caped Crusader animated series. Guys, talk about it. Talk about it. Caped Crusader. Is it?
So we heard it's going to be made by, I believe, Paul Dini, or some of the producers of the
Bruce
original. Bruce Timm, yes, thank you. So, Matt Reeves, yes.
Matt Reeves.
So a lot of people involved in the original animated series are coming back to work on this one. So that's a huge thing. It's primarily, I hear, aimed towards adults. Doesn't mean kids can't watch it, but I might have a hard time following it. So pretty excited to see what it looks like next month, I believe, August 1st.
First August. Basil?
For me, Batman, the animated series, was the best show from the Batman, and what made me love Batman. I'm so excited, but at the same time, a bit scared because they said they're gonna make them as more realistic. Like there is no monsters, no other. So not that excited because I like monsters and I want to see like Batman against Clayface as a monster, not like just a guy.
Or Killer Croc?
Yeah.
I grew up equal, very, very, very. I still grew up with these shows and Space too. I loved Batman really evolved. That was an introduction for me to the universe, and it's cool to see that they bring back the original team from the first Batman animated series onto this project so they could provide the perfect touch.
If I may add something also, we just had Crisis on Infinite Earths, Part 3 in its conclusion. I was fortunate enough to meet Kevin Conroy before he passed away.
See you guys.
For those who know who he is, he played the voice of Batman for 20 years on the animated series, in the Arkham games, in several animated movies, in live action also, in one of the CW shows. So it was very fortunate for us to see, it was a huge treat for us to see him give one last performance in this animated movie. For those who haven't seen it, it's not spoilers, but he has a small scene in the movie. I would encourage you to go see it.
I just want to add one thing here is that any one of you who's having the expectation, like Basil said, that he wants to see monsters like Clayface and Killer Croc, this series is going to make you appreciate one of the co-creators of Batman because this is based on the golden age Batman when he made his debut in Detective Comics number 27, I think. And it was very dark. Bill Finger was the guy who created the entire Batverse,
Use
most of it.
guns.
Huh?
This guy doesn't use guns at the time.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly, good point. So you need to watch this to understand what Golden Age Batman was really like, the detective, the true detective, if you will. And of course, when I see the name Bruce Wayne, I'm glad Jamil mentioned Paul Dini because Paul Dini wrote a lot of great episodes. So did Stan Berkowitz. So did many other J. One of the guests who was on my podcast, JMJ Matias. And of course, I mean, we have one other person involved, Michael Guzman. So this is not going to be for the faint-hearted, and if you really want to understand the contributions of Bill Finger, you need to watch this animated series. I'm really excited for that. Next up, Jamil, I want you to hold your shield because I want to hold up something else. So another trailer has created a lot of wind. So you have Captain America Shield signed by Chris Evans, and this is the very first Marvel comic, first appearance of the Red Hulk, General Thunderbolt Ross appearing as the Red Hulk. Of course, his identity wasn't disclosed in this issue. It came in the later ones, but this is what it is. We have two very valuable pieces of history right here, one MCU and one Marvel comic. So, guys, Brave New World. We have seen Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford be a part of Star Wars. We can take a close up of the shield itself
Han Solo.
as Han Solo. So, will we see him become a very important part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just like he is a very important, irreplaceable part of Star Wars, considering his age also, because when he was Han Solo, he was quite young. Now he's like quite senior. What do you guys say about that?
I hope that he gets involved in the Thunderbolts movie. Just like they had with Black Widow, they were setting up maybe some effects that way. Maybe like Yelena Belova, who was the next Black Widow, and even in the Hawkeye series, they had her
Maybe that's
against.
not
Yeah, and they also would have. What's that Russian guy with Captain America? Guardian.
Guardian.
I hope they also had him too. And maybe Thunderbolt Ross can be a part of the Thunderbolts. Although he'd be probably more of a manager than an actual member.
No, I want to see him fight. First of all, I like Hulk. I like the world of Hulk. The things maybe one of the 10 top characters for me. And I want to see a fight between them. And I want to see the scene when he Hulk the man.
Jamil,
So, and this is my concern every time there's perfect casting, because I'm going to give a call back to another perfect casting we had years ago. When they cast Ben Affleck as Batman, I thought this is perfect, but they're never going to be able to keep him around for so long. So he was around. He even wrote a script. They had an award-winning actor, director, screenwriter write a script for them. They didn't use the script. So they used him as much as he did. He wasn't utilized, I feel, to his best potential. And I feel like we're going to get the same thing with Harrison Ford. The previous actor who played Thunderbolt Ross sadly passed away. Hence why they brought in Harrison. I feel like he might make his transformation, if he is. I feel like my conspiracy theory is that he may not, I know he is in the comics, he may not actually be the Red Hulk. We didn't get to see his face in the trailer.
yeah, because there are other individuals who were there.
Whatever the case is, I feel like if he does make the transformation, maybe it'll just be his voice. And they'll actually come in and do the voice. Maybe they'll ask another actor to continue making the voice. So I hope he is. In some versions, he joins the Avengers. So we'll see if that happens or not.
I think this movie, and I'm glad Ahmed and Basil they also mentioned Thunderbolts. So because in Thunderbolts you have Bucky Barnes, and on the other side, you're going to be having Sam Wilson as Captain America, and then you're going to be having Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. This is going to be really interesting dynamics playing out. Uh, I don't know how Yelena Florence Pugh is going to be uh, playing the role. I just hope they don't use her as a comedic relief as they did in Hawkeye, which is one of the reasons why Disney is in such a huge mess. I hope things turn around. I hope we get to see what we want to see is classic superhero good versus evil action. So let's see what it happens. Now, the elephant in the room is James Gunn's Superman.
He's the biggest.
I know this. He cosplayed as Connor Kent, Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. And Superboy was here for last Comic-Con, the actor.
Yes.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
it was. I saw, unfortunately, got spoiled a bit. I'm not gonna talk about the spoilers too deep, just so if anyone is watching and they still didn't watch the spoilers, I'm not gonna talk about it. But I did see that they had Metamorpho, Ultra. Of course, you have Nathan Fillion as Green Lanterns, the Guy Gardner, and Metamorpho. Yeah. And I hope we can add smaller things like maybe Hawkman could be referenced. Maybe not the same actor as the one in the Doctor. Sorry, the Black Adam. I don't think it's gonna add. But I feel like this Superman is gonna really represent what Superman is. He's a beacon of hope. Even though he's alien, he is more human than he's even like Batman or even the other things. He represents what a human should be and take responsibility of if he had powers. Because obviously when he's born, these powers. In one of the runs, like also Superman, he explored the human side of him and how even with all this power, he is more kindly than most human. And I hope they really explore that in the movie. And they will also introduce. It seems like it's terrifics, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on this. So the terrifics is like a new team. They have like hopefully Ghost, maybe even Ghost Girl. Or fan. The girl is in the region for schools.
There are many girls in the
The ghost
starting
one.
with Supergirl, you have Cosmic Girl, Saturn Girl, yeah, Saturn Girl, and so you need to be a bit more specific because Legion of Superheroes is a big team. Big team. Okay, Basil, what's your take on that?
For me, I love Superman. I'm not into the cosmic superhero that much, but my favorite is Superman between the others. Uh, but what I'm so excited for the beginning of DC again,
Yeah.
and I have so much hope for James Gunn because I feel like he's the only director who reads comics and make even the least character as wow character. Like Polka Dot Man when they said it's gonna be in the Suicide Squad, I said it's gonna be who put Polka Dot Man. Then when I saw the movie, how he made me love the character. How? So I'm really excited for the movie because
You agree with Basil on this part?
I'm gonna agree. Not only agree, I'm gonna add another one. Shark Game. A character who, he was kind of silly, but in that one scene on the bus, he's just looking out the window of this one couple and saying, "I wish I could have that," and without even saying any words, we felt for this character, and only James Gunn can make us believe in these characters. So, man, this movie, I don't think it has to be a huge success, but it has to be enough of a success for us to believe in this new universe, in the Gunverse. It has to have us actually say, okay, we just believe in DC, this new universe, we're going to start going to these movies now. As opposed to the last couple of 4 or 5 movies who never even broke $500 million. I believe Black Adam made less than $400 million worldwide.
Yes.
I like to look at numbers and see, as I'm sure the studios do. So hopefully this will at least break even.
I think a lot of you guys have touched up on this. James Gunn, I'm not a big fan of his approach because what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, he made a complete comedic movie out of it. But I have to respect him for one thing. A lot of people fell in love with the Guardians of the Galaxy, a team that was ignored throughout their existence in Marvel Comics or Marvel Universe. And now people just love Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, the guy sitting beside me, okay, he does Star Lord cosplay. So you can check out his Instagram profile. Uh, so Star Lord becoming a household name, it's because what James Gunn did in his version of adaptation. But I have to give him credit for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the way he told the origin of Rocket Raccoon, that really, really moved me. Of course, there are bits and pieces which you can relate to, like the infamous scene from Wolverine number 75 comic, where he wants to die, but the spirit world throws him back. But Polka Dot Man was a very important one because when I was looking at the trailer of Suicide Squad, I was thinking like, okay, this is going to be another ragtag bunch of Guardians of the Galaxy, a really stupid comedy or something like that. But when I watched that, even though it's not up to the mark of my expectation, but it was quite entertaining, and Polka Dot Man was like the biggest A plus I would give. So, and in that respect, this is what James Gunn can do. He knows how to incorporate an entire universe. A lot, none of you guys mentioned Starro.
Oh, I love stuff. One of the things also I like about James Gunn that he gives the villain the story in the movie.
Yes,
One of the bad things about the other Marvel project, they don't give us the villain story or the side why we should have hate him. Like Thor Love and Thunder, if they give as much for Gore, they show us like he killed the gods and he moved and he's really scary. I think the movie is gonna be good, but he didn't show us anything. He just kidnapped kids and just said, "Fight me there."
I mean that's Taika Waititi, and in his own admission, he was there just to make money and run away. Yes, he turned out to be the biggest crook. I mean, he has tarnished Thor. And as someone who grew up reading Thor in Marvel Comics, I'm not gonna forgive this guy. I'm gonna use every opportunity to trash him as much as I
I agree with you. He said after the movie, one of the Shrek's he didn't know that he appeared in the film.
can.
I think
Like how?
it's like what he's really like. I think he destroyed the household name of Thor,
Yes.
and I think he's ruined his reputation. And I hope
Ruined
I,
Gore for us.
Gore, Gore was such a big opportunity for them to lead into even more and bigger villains, like even maybe Galactus, or could be like the servant of Galactus, Thor. Uh, the only thing that I might like about Thor Love and Thunder is that they showed us eternity more.
Yes.
Yeah, they showed us eternity. That was a cool part. Other than that, I didn't really enjoy it.
I like Thor Love and Thunder. I didn't like so many things. I just like the way with Thor. I miss my old hammer, and there's this story. Like I want to be the old Thor, but I can't be.
Yeah.
This is just the only thing I like about him.
I think coming back to James Gunn, can you add something to James Gunn and Thor also?
Well, I feel like if one thing, I'm just gonna try to be the optimistic in the group and say let's look on the bright side of what he gave us for Ragnarok. But I feel like he gave us a perfect balance in that movie of the silly and the serious. But I feel like with Love and Thunder, he leaned too much into the silly.
And have you read Stanley and Jack Kirby's Tales of Asgard, especially the stories about Ragnarok or War Silence and Surtur Saga?
I'm familiar with Ragnarok, but I haven't read that story.
That's here's the thing. I mean, like, I'm glad Jamil said that because a lot of Marvel fans or DC fans they get to know the character directly through the movie or the animated series or the TV series, and they like it. Like a relative of mine, he sent me a message and he said, "Why were you cussing Secret Invasion? I loved it." I said, "Bro, have you read the comic book crossover?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, when you read that, then reconsider what you said." So for me, like Ragnarok is a very, it's like the best thing Norse mythology has given us. It's drama, and I just wasn't able to accept the balancing act which Taika had done. Now we have delved from James Gunn to Taika, so let's come back to James Gunn because Superman, he wants to really show him as a symbol of hope. The values that Gary Siegel and George Houston came up with. Uh, do you think he can deliver?
Um, I think it's one thing that's very unique about James Gunn. Him and his brother and his entire team, and also his wife, who did a lot of the projects. They do a really good job of reeling and going and reading comics, going back into the mythology of everything.
Right.
So I think he has put a lot of attention into this project. He wants it to be a success. And I'm just going to go a little off topic and say that I've met Henry Cavill
Yeah.
and the Tom Welling. I have a poster of their autographs, and hoping to get as many actors as I can on this poster. But this new guy, I feel like he's doing a new job. David Corn Sweat, I think his name is.
David Corn.
Yep. He's we haven't seen much from him in terms of content news. I believe this is going to be the first one.
Yeah.
We've seen set images. We've seen him in the suit. We've seen James Gunn putting him in the picture of the in the suit. And I will say, please don't judge based on this one image or set images. They haven't been edited. They have been gone through several phases. So let's wait for the final project before we give our own judgment.
Basil Ahmed.
He wants to start.
Yeah, because he's weak and
Yeah. I'm actually so excited. Like I said, I want to see the beginning of the DC, and I like how he finished the DC as an Iron Man thingy. I want to see the other we're gonna see Green Lanterns, we're gonna see other characters. So it's like you're gonna introduce them later. Also, Peacemaker. So excited for the next season. But what's most excited for me that is gonna be the first fight for years between Marvel and DC because Fantastic Four is gonna appear in the same one.
we forgot to talk about
So
Fantastic
this is
Four.
gonna be so exciting.
Yes, next year is Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Let's go to Fantastic Four, but before that, Ahmed, finish your point about James Gunn suit.
I love if they really delve into how this world already has heroes, like Mr. Terrific, like Tomorrow, like Hawk Girl, and maybe even they introduce factions. I hope that they introduce the Amazon at some point, maybe in the news. Maybe they introduce some fictional countries. Maybe they introduce other teams.
We have the
Green Lantern Corps.
no the animated one, what's it? The creature something.
Yeah,
Future Commandos.
yeah, Future Commandos. Yes.
And honestly, my favorite character is going to be Metamorpho because the way they'll use the VFX for a unique style is Metamorpho obviously is in Justice League Unlimited.
Yes.
He defeated the Justice League by himself.
Exactly.
And they delve into the story of Rex Mason being this hunter, going to fight for his girl, but her father wanted to get rid of him, and they did get rid of him, but he came back. And I hope they delve into how that emotionally affected Metamorpho.
Nice. Now we are about to conclude our live broadcast, but very important topic we forgot to do. And thank you. I think another Basil, who mentioned it. Fantastic Four, starring Pedro Pascal, Mandalorian. You have Vanessa Kirby. What's your expectation, guys? Are you guys, first of all, you're young generation. Me and Jamil, we're gonna jump in later. Are you guys fans of Fantastic Four? Do you know anything about
Yes. It was one of the first movies, like when I was young, the first movie I saw, X-Men, Spider-Man.
Right.
The first one was Hulk, the old one. The old,
Eric Man?
yeah.
Yeah, Eric Man, which one?
Not the old one.
TV series. Wolverine.
There is the 2005, there's 2008.
Eric Man.
2005.
Eric Man. Edward Norton 2000.
And Fantastic Four Fox, the two with the Silver Surfer and the first one.
Yes.
It was one of my favorite movies, especially the first one, and seeing Doctor Doom also because I know it from the Spider-Man animated series. So actually, Spider-Man animated series was so good for me because it showed X-Men. So when I saw the movie, oh, they are connected. So I'm a big fan. Pedro Pascal. I don't see him as a Mr. Fantastic, but every time I see anything he acts on it, he really surprised me. So I'm excited for him. But I want to see the actor of Bane, how he gonna do Bane, because I love Bane.
Okay. Jamil,
Um, here's the thing. I want this movie to do well. The last couple, actually, all the previous Fantastic Four financially have not done well.
yeah.
And as far as even correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the Fantastic Four comic book has been discontinued.
Uh, it was discontinued, then it came back.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like
Yeah.
they're going, it's still back and forth, but I think now it's an ongoing series.
Yeah. They are the first family of Marvel. We've never had a family before them.
They started the Marvel Age.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So I want this to be good so badly, but I don't have any concerns. I feel like it's going to be a different take because we know it's in the 60s. And like you said, this might be a different universe than what we're used to.
yeah.
And maybe the theory is that they'll merge it into our prime universe. We'll see what it goes. But I have such high hopes. I'm excited, but at the same time, a little concerned and worried at the same time. But hopefully, it's good.
Ahmed,
I got introduced to Fantastic Four from the series, the original series. I don't know if you guys watched it.
On the
the
animated.
90s animated series?
No.
Or the
The
2000s?
2000.
Yeah, on Cartoon Network, yes.
I watched those when I was young.
Yeah.
I really loved it. And especially like the movies, the first Fox movie where Human Torch was so iconic. Even though it was the first like ever Marvel portrayal of Chris Evans that they did. I believe that Joseph Quinn was amazing because I've seen his works in the things and the new movie of was no jump in that.
Jack Ryan is a series.
Oh, he was in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. He was Big Richard in
John Krasinski.
Yeah.
John Krasinski.
Yeah, and I would love if they introduce maybe a bit of Spider-Man as well. Especially in this world, they've teamed up with Spider-Man previously.
Right.
As we know, like in one of the technically the fifth member in Future Foundation.
Future Foundation, but he was also Johnny Storm's best friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Johnny Storm, I would love if he would be a bit more focused in the last movie.
Yeah.
And I hope they do that iconic scene, like when he had Hiroshi Kimana and he saying, "Go get him, Johnny," and he said, "Hiroshi Kimana," and he jumped and said, "Flame on." That iconic scene, iconic scene.
I'll just add one thing here because this is something which is quite important for the geekdom in Saudi Arabia. Of course, you guys are pretty young, but on Saudi Channel 1, because back in the 70s there was only one Saudi channel, and then Saudi Channel 2 came in 1982. The first ever superhero animated series that I watched and fell in love with was the Fantastic Four from the 60s. And later on, Saudi Channel 2 also showed the 1979 animated series. From that point onwards, Fantastic Four have been the most important characters. I think I if there was a time I had more Fantastic Four comics than Avengers. Of course, I'm a huge X-Men fan, so X-Men way more. So for those of us who grew up in the 80s in Jeddah, watching Saudi Channel 2 or Saudi Channel 1, and if we love Fantastic Four, then this movie, especially it's going to be taking place in the 60s, is going to bring back a lot of good memories. And Doctor Doom, is he going to be making an appearance in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Imagine. Imagine.
A good time with like Latvia, maybe another European countries could meet up with how Doctor Doom maybe could discover the multiverse. Maybe he's one of the first people to stop the invasion of other universes, some kind of incursions. Maybe it could be in 616, equivalent of like a guard, I guess, to stop the incursions.
Right.
Also hint for him in Agatha, I think.
Yes.
So
Castle Doom.
yeah. I wasn't excited for that series. Seeing the picture of he might appear, I should be excited.
There's a good reason for that because Dr. Doom is a believer in combining science with magic. So where there's magic, there's Agatha, there's Scarlet Witch, and there's Dr. Doom, there's Dr. Doom.
Well, here's the thing. I have our Silver Surfer,
Yeah.
and we
I know,
always.
but she's gonna be Silver Surfer as well, not the actress.
But we have, I have a Silver Surfer. In this
Yes.
movie, so that's a fun movie. But I feel like we already have a faithful right now. Maybe in the future in some, he would be a big dad. I feel like they would probably hold it for later.
Great. This brings our live broadcast, our first ever live broadcast series episode to an end.
So we released a brand new Deadpool trailer yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, the final trailer.
The one thing that has us more excited that was never confirmed before is the addition of Daphne team.
Yes, X-23.
X-23, she's gonna be there.
Well, this brings us to the conclusion of our very first episode of our live broadcast series, which is related to superheroes of Arabia.
We gotta come up with a name for this.
Yeah, it's superheroes of Arabia.
Okay.
So, if you guys want to discuss these things further, you can head straight to our Facebook group, which is Superheroes of Arabia. Join in the discussion here on YouTube. Of course, I'm going to be editing this video, and you guys are going to be able to see it for those of you who missed out the live broadcast, thanks to the slight delay that occurred. And we are going to be not only talking about movies and animations and things like these, but also even the superhero games that are headed our way. So many things to do. Thank you, Jameel,
My pleasure.
okay, for coming up and bringing this valuable collectible to showcase to our community. Okay, and thank you, Basil, for cosplaying as Wolverine for us specifically. Ahmed for coming in as Deadpool. Thank you so much. And guys, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. This live broadcast series is going to be broadcasted frequently on my YouTube channel only. So if you want to be part of the live discussion and everything, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, Kashif. Thank you for giving us the venue to host this. And thank you, Abdul Khan, the guy in the back.
Thank you for having us.
It's the least I can do.
Why not?
Okay, guys, don't be in a hurry. I need to take some pictures. And anybody up for a